How about each of you share your favorite house system since we're on that topic?
Oh, Judith.
Well, I was for many years. I was a staunch Placidian for 20 years. And then on a tip from Rob Hand, I thought, I'm going to try whole sign houses because I like the theory behind them. And I cannot tell you how much better and more accurate all of my readings were. And my clients were noticing it too, because I sat and did readings for decades. And so I have never looked back, but I'm completely open to that. Different house systems each show actually a different way the universe works, the different timing systems. And it'd be very interesting to see if they perform different for different kinds of astrology or different kinds of timing. So I haven't thrown Placidus out or Canopus or Marinus or Plotinus or
Regiomontanus,
or on and on and on. All these monks had a gift or an obsession with inventing house systems in the Renaissance period. An absolute gift for this. They seem to all like to do it. That's why we have them today. But they weren't used. The earliest systems were whole sign house and equal house, which is very similar, based on the similar spinning out of the 12-fold measure formula.
Yeah. So I'm Placidus. I was originally taught Placidus. So, I think a lot of astrologers kind of stick with what they were originally taught. And I still use Placidus as the first thing to look at with people, or the first way to look at it. And then if I need to, I will shift to either whole sign, or I really prefer equal house rather than whole sign. Every time I put charts into whole sign, I get it and I can do it if that's what people need. I feel really claustrophobic, which sounds really weird on an energetic level. Whereas if I do equal house, which isn't that different, something just sits better for me. So I would have to say Placidus and equal house. But I'm not against any. I didn't used to do this, but if a client needs, I will swap to whatever works for them. But then sometimes I find it frustrating because I feel like I'm missing some information when the planets shift houses, because I'm so house-based. I get a little bit disoriented sometimes with their health ailments, and I want to take them back to a different house system.
I tend to think that the universe will be giving you information through the house system that you are accustomed to.
Yeah.
And so people have asked me sometimes to read a chart in their favorite house system. And I feel the same way. I can't tune in on it because I'm not used to it. But do you find, Kira, when you encounter a planet on a cusp, any system you use, do you find it can affect both houses?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not one to kind of automatically jump a planet to the next house, but I will have an investigation of it and I can see how it's going to influence. I guess that's more, I have a chat to the client about it and I see if they feel like it's moved forward or not. But yeah, I will look at both. And really, medically and in regular astrology, as I've decided to call it, things flow from house to house. So in some ways, when things do shift or they share energy between a house, really, it's the evolution as you go through the chart anyway, right? It's just like Aries has that energy that flows to Taurus, to Gemini. I think the houses also have that. And, medically, our whole body's connected anyway, isn't it, Judith? Right? All the systems are connected. You can't pull that apart. So, but yeah, I won't automatically jump a planet to the next house. I know some people do that. They'll only read it in that next house. I absolutely read it in the house it lands in. And then I have a little play. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I feel the same way. I've noticed if a planet is a singleton, even in the middle of the fifth house, and you start asking questions, say it's Saturn, they will have some Saturnian health problems. It's influencing the sixth. Their parents abandoned them and we're a Scorpio, and it's Saturn in Scorpio, and it's influencing the fourth, and then they don't have any kids. It's influencing the fifth. It seems to, in other words, the planets don't just do what humans want them to do. They have a little mind of their own, and they spread their waves. It's more like it's more like a sine wave, like the peak like that, but it's influencing all the houses, the two houses around it. If it gets near that cusp, I find it's usually influencing at least those two.
Yeah.
And all you got to do to find that out is start asking the client some questions, and you'll be so surprised.
Yeah. It's like a planetary aura. It has an aura to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They definitely spread their beams. I find it very noticeable if there's no other planet around, then they'll just be a stage hog.
Yeah. I love that.
I used to belong to a bluegrass band, and before I joined it, they called themselves the Alameda County Stage Hogs.
That's so funny.
Isn't that great?
I love it. Yeah. So planets and houses, and jumping houses. It's a good topic. And again, it's asking what's going on, or, I find with the house systems as well, it's really interesting to watch transits to certain planets, especially when it's a conjunction by transit, and seeing which house that transit more influenced. I find that a really fascinating way to look at the different house systems, because sometimes you clearly have an issue that's coming from the 12th house versus the first house, and that shift of energy.